All right, we've been looking for industries that are getting impacted either positively or negatively by AI. One industry that I never thought we'd talk about is property and casualty insurance. Lo and behold, I think there's a story here. Matthew Palazzolo, Bloomberg Intelligence. The Bloomberg story, insurance brokers AI stock sell-off, overblown. What's going on?
Isn't this your favorite sector, Paul?
I love it, but I didn't think there'd be an AI play here.
So the AI trade, I guess, that was happening yesterday was the insurance brokers. So these are the intermediaries. So these are names like Marsh McLennan, Aon, Arthur J. Gallagher. A slew of AI news came out. Two kind of chatbot sales of personal lines insurance. And then there was also that Anthropic news from last week that was kind of going after these professional service firms.
Oh.
So I think it was twofold. One, these large public brokers have a bunch of consulting-like services. And I think those businesses are more ripe to be disrupted than the actual insurance brokerage business. So I think it was probably a late catch-up. So these broker stocks were down like 9% yesterday. And I think it was a late catch-up on that Anthropic stuff. And if it was concerns on these other chatbots selling home and auto insurance, these stocks don't even really do that. They're not sellers of that insurance. They're not intermediaries for that. So I think that was overdone. But I think it's more on the professional services side.
So talk to us about why you think the bread and butter of the business, helping people find the right insurer, is something that maybe might be not vulnerable, but more resistant to AI for now.
Sure. So I think the low end of that is a little vulnerable, right? So the low end of helping people get home and auto insurance, I think that there's room for disruption there. I also think there's room for disruption on the low end of the commercial market. But these stocks that were getting crushed yesterday, they don't play there. So they'll operate in the large and middle market commercial space. That could be companies with like $50 million of revenue. So why I think that's a more defensible position is that's a far more complex buying decision than my car or Paul's mansion
Vespa. Or my Vespa. Yeah,
you're talking about a very complex need that you might be dealing with a risk manager or a CFO of a company, and I just think they're much less likely to hand that over to an AI agent.
Who are some of the companies on the lower end that might be vulnerable then?
So, no, there's not a lot of public companies that are on that side. There's a public company called Lemonade that actually is in this space. So they are the AI kind of user and seller of insurance. So if you wanted to play it in a positive way, they would benefit from that. Progressive, Allstate, Berkshire Hathaway, owner of Coca-Cola, they have some direct auto insurance businesses. So that could be disrupted by this. But overall, for the public names that I cover, it's not a huge revenue loss opportunity.
I could see it being disrupted by AI for auto insurance, but for home insurance, it gets more complicated because when I just look for a quote online directly through a website, even trying to answer how old is a roof on my house is complicated. And the algorithms are not set up to help you figure out the right policy, the right premium.
Scarlett, I think you're hitting the nail on the head, right? The house is the biggest asset that most of us are going to own. Would you trust that to a chatbot? Maybe, maybe not. I will say, Scarlett, what I think is going to happen, though, is that it's enabling the insurance companies to be more efficient. So exactly what you said, the AI can actually help on the other side. It can maybe look at your roof. It might know, it can search public records, and it can maybe find some of that data for you, which would help the underwriter. So while I don't think the robots are going to come and take away the business, I think they're going to actually amplify the abilities of the insurers.
How old is your roof? That's assuming I filed all the paperwork to upgrade my roof.
How old is your roof?
I don't know, because it's a slate roof, so you replace parts of it.
Slate? Whoa.
Wow. Westchester.
It came that way, It's not like I had a choice.
One of the biggest claims is the roof claim, and so they're always looking at the roofs now, and they use like satellite images to kind of zoom in on your roof and see how it is.
Right, but some pieces are 20 years old. Other pieces might be 5 years old. I don't know how to answer that.
The AI might be listening to this.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
I have a thatched roof.
Thatched roof, exactly.
He lives in the Shire.
Exactly. Matt, 30 seconds left. how are the stocks performing? Property and casualty stocks performing?
They're okay. They did okay during earnings. I thought these stocks, I think, are ending up just being the opposite of the tech AI trade most of the time. Okay. So if you're seeing risk on, then they're not going to do well. If you're seeing a flight to value, then they're going to do well. So depending on how the Mag 7 are doing one day, then they're doing the opposite.
All right, Matt Palazzola, he's the senior analyst who covers all the insurance stuff for Bloomberg Intelligence, joining us live here in our Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. So I've got insurance